Hello, and welcome back to the show. And today I'm going to be talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. So, Deadpool and Wolverine is the third Deadpool film, a sequel to 2018's Deadpool 2, and the fourth film in Phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, you don't need me to tell you that the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now is pretty much ice cold. A lot of their recent releases have been misses, and Phase 5 in particular was not very good, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 being the only release that was legitimately good. Quantumania and The Marvels were both terrible movies. Secret Invasion was one of the worst TV shows I have ever watched. Season 2 of What If was very disappointing. Echo was also not very good. So Marvel hasn't really been firing on all cylinders, and with them picking up the rights to Deadpool, there was a lot of concern of will they remain true to Deadpool and the violence and everything that the first two movies were. And Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, how will that be handled? Coming off of Logan, which gave his character a great send-off. So there was a lot of anticipation slash nervousness around this movie. And I am happy to report that this movie was excellent. This film was great. It was very fun, very entertaining. I really enjoyed the story, the characters, and everything about this film. And, well, let's dive into it. So Deadpool and Wolverine picks up after the events of Deadpool 2. Deadpool, Wade Wilson, is now retired from the superhero game and is a car salesman. And then it's his birthday, and then the TVA come knocking on his door. They kidnap him and they bring him to TVA headquarters, and he's informed that his timeline is being erased from existence because Logan was the anchor being of that timeline. And in order to stop this, he brings another Wolverine into the timeline, but then things go sideways and they're both pruned and go into the void. They meet an evil female, Charles Xavier, and she's basically on a quest to destroy reality or the timeline. That's a very brief summation of the plot, and honestly, the plot in itself isn't the most important element of the movie. The key element of this film is definitely Deadpool and Wolverine and the dynamic between these two characters, and the film played it off really well. Ryan Reynolds does a phenomenal job as Deadpool, returning to this role. He is excellent. The quips, the one-liners, everything about his performance in this film is excellent. The opening fight scene with the TVA agents in a snowfield and Logan's burial ground, that was all done very well. It was very funny, and the fight being choreographed to In Sync's Bye Bye Bye, that was just hilarious. I absolutely loved that fight scene, and the gore and the blood and the violence in that fight scene definitely did a good job at setting the tone for the movie. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I mean, he's been playing that character for as long as I've been alive, and he is definitely Wolverine. I genuinely can't envision anyone else playing Wolverine the way he does, and we gotta look at some time variants of Wolverine across different timelines. There was one in particular where we gotta look at Henry Cavill, who was in this movie, him as Logan, and he looked excellent. And if they ever want to follow up with that Henry Cavill Wolverine / Logan project, I'm all in for it, because that was excellent. The dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine was done very well. The way both of them played off of each other was very good. The two of them, in my opinion, have the best fight scene in the movie. It's a fight that takes place in a car, and it is absolutely hilarious and awesome. Genuinely one of the best. And speaking of cameos, Chris Evans is in this movie as Johnny Storm / Human Torch, who he portrayed in 2005's Fantastic Four and 2007's Rise of the Silver Surfer. He reprises that character in this movie, and it's pretty much played for laughs. He gets into a fight with Pyro, but the way that fight played out was very hilarious, and what happens to him afterwards was just excellent, and one of the funniest lines in the movie, "Do you know what he was doing to the budget?" That was just excellent. In terms of other cameos in this movie, we have the Army of Deadpools and Army of Deadpool time variants across different timelines, and that fight scene, the way that fight played out was excellent. Also, we get a mini Avengers, there are 4 cameos. X-23, played by the same actress from Logan. Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner, who played the character in Daredevil and Elektra. Blade, portrayed by Wesley Snipes from the Blade trilogy. And Channing Tatum as Gambit from the Gambit movie that's been in development hell for so many years and was ultimately cancelled a few years ago. I've heard about that film for years, and finally seeing him as that character on screen and the fight and everything that played out in The Void, that was very good. And the climax of the movie with Deadpool and Wolverine and the entire climax of this film, the final act, was just portrayed very well. I really enjoyed it. This film stays true, as I mentioned, to the original two. The action sequences are very violent and gory. They do not shy away from the violence at all. It was very well done. Comedy, absolutely hilarious. I laughed so much while watching this film. It's definitely one of the funniest films I've watched all year. And I really enjoyed it. As I mentioned, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, amazing performances by both guys. The entire cast does a very good job. The musical choices, everything about this film was great, and the post-credit scene was absolutely hilarious. I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed the story. It was very entertaining, very fun, and personally speaking, I enjoyed this more than the first 2 Deadpool movies. In my opinion, this is the Deadpool film that we needed. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's my favorite film in the Deadpool trilogy, and I genuinely hope that this isn't the last we see of Deadpool. I think the character definitely has more to offer, and I can't wait to see more. Deadpool and Wolverine is exactly what the MCU needed at this point. It was ice cold, especially with Phase 5 having only one good release, that being Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I really don't know how well this will be integrated into future MCU projects, especially with what was announced for the upcoming Avengers movie. One thing that I thought of, this is exactly what the MCU needed, but is Deadpool the savior of the MCU? Well, that'll depend, because the next film is Captain America Brave New World, and I don't exactly have high hopes for it. So we'll just have to wait and see how the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe plays out. But as far as Deadpool and Wolverine is concerned, this was an excellent movie. I really enjoyed it. I actually want to go out and watch it again in theaters. It was so good. This was an excellent film, and I really, really liked it. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at Saeed_2000. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, take care.